Fabian. Welcome to the Idea Lab podcast. Great to have you here. What are your first impressions? Because it's a founders-based conference, or like Idea Lab is a founders conference. What is your first impression of the conference itself, but also of the founders-driven energy here?
So first of all, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here, and I'm always super enthusiastic to meet with students and with people who have the aspiration to become founders, because it is a nice contrast to the usual corporate world that I'm operating in, where we see a lot of kind of structural changes and companies being under a lot of pressure. So it's great to see that people have the ambition to build something new and to create something that will secure the future of the German economy and create wealth and economic prosperity also in the country in the years to come.
You have more than 25 years experience of consulting, and now you're leading Oliver Wyman Europe. So you've seen a lot of different leadership styles. What would you say, like what qualities define a good leader, and what is essential to become a good leader?
At Oliver Wyman, we have the ideal of the combination of what we call love and rigor. So basically, I think you have to bring your heart, you have to bring your passion to work every day, and you have to treat people with empathy and a close personal connection. But at the same time, you have to bring the rigor of being tough in your decisions, executing things the way they have been designed in the strategy. And if you lack rigor, I think you will never be successful. But if you lack love, I think you will never be creating a culture or an organization where people actually want to work and are passionate about, joining you to solve the most complex problems, which is our aspiration as a consulting firm. So this constant combination of love and rigor, I think, is something that is super essential and really makes a great leader.
How do you you have to find the balance, but how do you do that? Do you have any tips, or is it just a gut feeling?
Oh, obviously, I think there's a lot of experience, and I think it's a lot of, particularly if you look at it from the lens of a student, I think it's just seeing how others who are more experienced doing it, right? So, and therefore, I advise you all to take the opportunity to do internships, to gain practical experience, and to do that in a way that allows you to be close to other leaders, so that you can experience how they do it. Because at the end of the day, it is a lot of intuition, right? I'm personally thrown into probably 20 different settings every day. So, and in every setting, I have to act a bit differently, right? And sometimes it's more of love, sometimes it's more of rigor. And so I don't think you can engineer it, right? I think you have to really do it with a lot of intuition, and that's what you can only learn over time.
Okay. Germany is also right now in the middle of a fundamental change, especially in all fields, but in automotive, energy, tech, finance. What do you think, from your perspective, what decides if the transformation will be successful or not?
I think what we have to do is to recognize the strengths that we have, which I think is a wealth of technological expertise, and a lot of qualities that I think at the end of the day will make a difference. So I think German companies have a lot of focus on reliability, on quality, on durability of products. And I think we have to make this a competitive advantage again. At the same time, I think what we need to realize is that we need to change. And I think there are still too many companies and also too many managers who don't really recognize that we are exactly in this fundamental transformation that you talk about, Emily. And not recognizing that, and recognizing that you have to do things differently than the way you have done it in the past, I think is an essential step. And then last but not least, I think we need more optimism, right? So we were in Davos at the World Economic Forum, like we do every year, and you could see that we have the same geopolitical and macroeconomic changes in the world, but our American clients are looking at it in a much more positive way, to say, okay, it creates lots of opportunities, things are going to change, it opens up new markets. While as the Europeans, and particularly the Germans, were very, very pessimistic and were kind of self-bashing all the time, right? And I think we have to move out of that. We have to see this as an opportunity, and we have to become more optimistic. I think only if you're optimistic, you can ultimately succeed.
So that's what we have to do to remain competitive, especially when we look at the US and China. Or is there anything like in particular what we should do in structure-wise to especially stay competitive in innovation
I think,
and investment, obviously?
Yeah, I think, particularly if we look at the competition with China, right? Because I think it's the competition with the US is very different, and it's a different field. So the industrial competition is mainly against China. And I think what we what we can prove, or what we are already proving, is that we have the opportunity to catch up or to remain competitive on the technological side and on the innovation side, right? It's been taken a bit of time, and particularly in the auto industry, I think we have fallen behind for a few years, but are now catching up again. And in some cases, I think we are taking the lead. I do believe where we really have a significant problem that is not solved, and where I believe that particularly founders also from this place can make a difference, is on cost competitiveness, right? So 70% of the innovations in the auto industry in the past 100 years have been about cost. They have not been about functional innovation. They have really been about how do we produce the same quality, the same kind of product in a less expensive way. And this is where we have a huge problem, right? It costs 5 times as much to build a car in Germany than it costs in other countries, even in Europe, like such as Turkey. So we have to become more cost competitive, and I do believe there are numerous opportunities for founders to contribute to that space, and process innovation, industrial automation, robotics, all those kind of things that really help to bring costs down and keep industrial value creation in Germany.
We talked a lot about transformation and transition. What do you think, how important is when it comes to climate neutrality in the economical way? How important is that to remain competitive? Because we had Fridays for Future a few years ago, which is becoming less, but still being climate neutral is still a goal of Germany. Do you think it is good to be, is it a thing we have to do to stay competitive, or is it also a disadvantage because it will slow down processes or something?
First of all, climate change is the mega problem that we have to solve over the next decades. And I think we've been very aware of that a few years ago, and it's kind of gone to the back of our minds a little bit as other problems have become more dominant, right? I think we have to bring it back to the forefront. The way we have addressed it, I think, has in many cases been harming the competitiveness of the industry. And I think we have to find ways where we actually, combine the two things, right? We have to pursue a route to climate neutrality, and at the same time use it as a means of competitive differentiation and competitive strength. And I do believe that those opportunities exist, right? So being climate neutral has to be a way to make money for companies, right? They have a fiduciary responsibility vis-a-vis their shareholders, right? They cannot just do things that in the long run will cost them money, right? Yeah. And therefore, I really believe in technological innovation, and I really believe that we have to focus on those things where we as the German industry have an opportunity to spearhead innovation and to create opportunities to make money for us and also for other countries. Otherwise, it will also create a lot of social problems, right? If what it does is just lose jobs in Germany, right, or replace jobs in here and create them elsewhere, I think in the long run it will be socially and politically unacceptable. So therefore, I think we need this transition, that climate neutrality is a means of becoming profitable as a company as well.
Yeah, I would agree, because we have to find a way to combine both. To wrap it up, I would finish with some quick fire questions. So I will give you a question and you have to answer short and sharp, okay? You ready? What is something essential in your daily routine?
For me, exercise is a core thing, right? I'm someone who loves sports, and I'm someone who needs a balance to this like very intense schedule that you have as a consultant. So I try to find time to do sports every day. You know, whether it is 20 minutes of yoga or 1 hour of running, but this is my essential.
I've read that you run 100 kilometers in one day. Is that true?
It was actually a walk. So I
Okay.
do long runs, but it
But
was a
still,
100-kilometer walk,
oh,
yes. Yeah,
okay, crazy.
24 hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. In 3 words, how would you describe, what is your hope for Germany's economic future?
I have been very blessed to be part of a generation that has hugely profited from Germany's role in a globalized economy, right? So, and I know it's a lot of luck and it's a lot of environmental conditions that have made my career possible. And what I want to do is to create opportunities for the next generation, for people like you, but also for my kids, to have the same opportunities for economic prosperity and to live in a country that is free and democratic and in peace. And I think it's a huge task, and it's on my generation to make it happen.
And what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear Idea Lab?
Actually, I just heard about it when I got the invitation to come here. But it has been a hugely inspirational forum so far since I came here this morning, and I very much look forward to discussions with students over the coming hours. So thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much for taking your time. And yeah, thank you so much.